Hi, my name is Molly Brooks. I'm from Kitsap Race. I have a short message to read from Kitsap Race. It is about the issue with anti-camping. We stand against any anti-camping legislation due to the negative impact on our unhoused neighbors. We support providing an area for camping to our unhoused neighbors with access to clean water and sanitation to include restroom facilities and showers. We are in favor of the city increasing funding for housing and shelter services for our unhoused neighbors. We are in favor of immediately funding an increase in the number of shelter beds in Bremerton. We are opposed to any fines and fees that may be levied against our unhoused people for being in public spaces. We are opposed to sweeps of homeless camps that lead to the total loss of our neighbors' belongings. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Let's go again online to Joey H.
Hello, my name is Joey Hayes. I'm also from Kitsap Race, and I helped to write the statement that Molly, who is my sister, just read. I have been attending council sessions as well as the study session. I was pleased at the study session that I attended last week to see how much interest our council has put in trying to find a solution that will also help our unhoused neighbors. I don't think any of us want the residents on MLK Way to be experiencing what they're currently experiencing. That isn't what people are asking. What we're asking is for a solution that serves both the community on MLK Way and our unhoused neighbors with a safe place to live. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Go again online. Saw one or two more hands. Patricia Morris, please go ahead. Patricia Morris.
Okay, thank you. I would just, I was there 2 weeks ago, and I'd just like to reiterate that I am against no camping ordinance because it further marginalizes the unhoused and makes them inaccessible for services that would, help resolve at least some of their issues. Also, I'm concerned about the sanitary facilities. My understanding is that there is a grant that the city has been given for $10,000, and now we're being told that there's liability, and I'm just curious about what that liability entails, as I know Seattle has such sanitary conditions. Facilities. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. And if I could encourage you to send an email to city.council@ci.bremerton.wa.us, we can get a response on the funding and liabilities. Thank you. All right. Next up online, Peggy Erickson, please go ahead.
Hello, Council. Good evening. I am also from Kitsap Race, the housing team, the newly formed housing team. We feel like homelessness is very interrelated with racism and privilege and classism. And so we formed a housing team to try and support our homeless neighbors. And I very much was pleased to hear that one of our council members suggested that you open some space where our unhoused neighbors can have a safe space with sanitation facilities. I fully endorse what Molly read, that statement, which I also helped work on. And we really feel like every human being should be given their dignity, given a space to be. Having access to sanitation is very important for everyone. And so I really encourage the council to find ways to get around the obstacles to giving people a place to be, because moving people from place to place and sweeping camps has a really negative impact on people's lives. And you know, a lot of these people don't have a place to be. Even people with campers have a hard time finding space where they can be. And those of us who have housing are privileged to have it. And making more housing available is super important. And I'm really glad to hear that you're working on that. But we do also have to address immediate needs. And no matter what a person's situation is, whether they're an addict or not, and not all the people that are unhoused are addicts. I think that's a stereotype that we need to be careful we don't adopt. All people should have the right to have somewhere to be, and just shuffling people from place to place and throwing out all the belongings of someone who doesn't have a home is really, really unjust. And I know that you don't, each of you don't want to be a part of that. So I really encourage you to work on these issues together and to set an example for other jurisdictions in Kitsap County on how to, you know, help people that are unhoused. And I know that it's not just Bremerton's problem, it's every jurisdiction has this problem and needs to come up with creative solutions, and the county as a whole as well. So thank you for your work on this, and you will be hearing from us, and we encourage you to keep up that work. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
My name is Maureen Hoyce. My husband and I are business owners, and we have a rental on Kitsap Way. And it's directly across from Forest Lawn Cemetery. And I did email a letter to the council earlier this week, but I'm just going to read the email so that we can kind of address everything that I talked about. But we're having a vagrancy problem with drug users because we're finding needles on our property. We're finding human feces on our property. So we know that there's a drug problem. The new culvert that was installed where the fish passage, they've been coming in and out of that, and they're living in it, you know, off and on. I even had the floor covering store, Straight Floors, that is our tenant on the property, tell me today that they have been getting deliveries of food to that site, where like a DoorDash or something like that pulls up with food, and they come up and they get their food and they go back down into this culverted area. I am suggesting that the city approach possibly fencing off that area, because it's so far off of the road that you can't see it when you drive by. And it wasn't until we had theft this week that the police, I think, were really aware about it, of it. And the police did come yesterday and they did a sweep of the culvert, and they did push some people out of it. What they did with the people, whether they arrested them, whether they had drugs on them, I don't know, but some action has been taken. I know Chris Hendrickson, that owns the Lewis Funeral Chapel and the Forest Lawn Cemetery, did email our mayor, and whether he was involved with, you know, getting that done at that time, or the email that I'd sent to the council, there has been at least an attempt to try to help us with this issue. There's also been an issue of the abandoned cars parked on Kitsap Way, that some of them don't even have wheels or tires, and they've been sitting there for months on end. Some of them are filled with people's belongings, like they're storing their things there, and they come to their cars every once in a while and get out what they need. And I'm not sure where they're staying, but that's seems to be the type of vehicles that are parked there. And I am just wondering why, for months that the city can't do anything as far as impounding those vehicles. I am hoping that some kind of action like that, and also the fencing of the culvert area, I really think that that could take care of a lot of the issues that are going on in our area right now. But with the theft this week,
Just 10 seconds.
with the theft this week, my husband and I found a pry bar that they left behind when they were breaking in, and also wire cutters. So these aren't just
And that's 3
homeless
minutes. So
people.
sorry to stop you there.
Okay, all right.
Apologies.
Thank you.
Nothing personal, got to keep it equal. But no, thank you for your comment. And yes, the mayor administration, I know we're copied on those emails. So hopefully they'll be able to get back to you with what's possible to do with right now. Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Joe Walter, West Bremerton. I have to tell a story. I'm struck by the story that this woman has just shared, because I've been trying to bring some folks who are part of that unhoused community out to speak with you, and was kind of close to having someone who would record his words, which I could then have you hear during my time. But we've texted, and he's in an emergency room, and the story is that he heard what's going on and is afraid of being moved, and he moved to West Bremerton, probably the culvert area, and while moving his stuff, took a tumble down a couple of hills, and now he's in the emergency room. That's an aside. I came to say that G2 Housing supports the position of Kitsap Erase Housing Systems team. I'm a part of Erase, that team as well. And G2 just wanted to add a couple things. Is there a timer?
I got just over 1.5 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you. The points, just to repeat them. We stand against anti-camping legislation. We support providing an area for camping that will include clean water, sanitation facilities, including showers. We're in favor of the city increasing funding, and we put that in there because it felt like you were talking about that during this study session meeting, making that part of the ordinance somehow. Thinking about that funding going towards shelter beds, because what's going to happen in the winter? No fines, no fees, and please no sweeps. But G2 wants to add that I guess we're concerned that if an ordinance is passed, that it'll start being enforced and people will be moved and they may scatter around the community. Please look at a place where they can go, and don't start enforcing bans until the place exists. And that to include transportation, please, because as people are moving, there are their possessions to consider. And about the toilets, we haven't had a formal response from the city. We've heard informally that we're concerned about liability, but can there be a discussion where it is explained, because we think that liability concern is one that we really have to push back against. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. And I think the mayor might want to give a response to some of that.
Thank you, Council. Just as far as winter goes, the Salvation Army will stand up a cold weather winter shelter again this year. So it'll start early November, the 1st of November, going all the way through April. Just wanted you to be aware. And Councilor Fry did ask for a briefing, and I will share with you that I am working with our major community partners to stand up another shelter in the city of Bremerton. So know that's coming. Obviously that involves real estate. So when we get to the point where I can brief you, you will be the first to know. Okay, thank you. And it's a very high priority.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. All right, anybody else for public recognition? Yes, in the room, please go ahead.
Hi, council members. I just wanted to thank Erase for their advocacy. Well put. But I wanted to speak to thank the city of Bremerton. I manage the downtown Bremerton Library, and I wanted to give a recognition shout out to Chris Mottner, to Joe Stansberry, to Matt Donleycott, and their whole team for just their incredible support. They're managing a great project and they're doing great work. So that's it. Thank you.
Could you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Lisa Lechuga.
Thank you and great news. Anyone else for public recognition? Any online, Dave? Not seeing any online, not seeing any in the room. All right, we'll go ahead and close public recognition and we'll move on to general business.